And with that, I would like to just move straight into open microphone. If you have questions on my report, if you have questions on any of the previous reports you've seen today, we have in the virtual table here, the board, the AC chairs, many of the senior staff. So please raise your hand or put a comment in the Q&A. We're open to any comments, questions, or feedback you have. And with that, I will turn it over. Although I see the words, no open questions. Do not give questions. John has now spent 3 days preparing an operatic in C minor, I believe, and he's put on his tie so that he can. It is a strange community. I never know whether I'm going to get 85 questions and a lineup of mics or. Well, we'll give it a few seconds because we are ahead of time, well ahead of it, so we do have some time. John, is there any closing thoughts you'd like to give before we close the mic?
No, I would just like to thank the community because we didn't know how we were going to fare in this virtual world. And if anything, I think the discussions have been more focused. The participation has been high. Anyone who wants to come in and speak to the topics at hand, we've had great involvement. And I just think, I know it can be sometimes difficult. For some reason, it's easier to get on a plane and go somewhere for 3 days than it is to fit in 3 hours each day while you've got, locked in your house and the kids and the dog and the background noise. But everyone has taken the time and everyone has made it possible to participate. And I do think ARIN is stronger as a result. Going forward, we will be looking at what we can do to keep the strength we picked up here, maybe add the in-person component as reasonable. I don't think we'll ever get back to the travel we always had because maybe we've learned something, but we'll try to add some virtual back in as much as possible.
I'm sure many of us who used to travel more are plus ones, or others are quite tired of us now and like us to get out of the house. I would also just like to thank again, both to Chris and Dan. Again, it's not a goodbye, it's a thank you. And I know that we will see them both because I know they put in chat that we will continue to see them involved in the community, and I'm sure in positions of leadership again in the future. And to all the community, I do look forward to seeing you again. It's these virtual formats been great, but it would obviously be nice to be able to have those hallway conversations again. And with that, we have a few things in queue. So I'm gonna just take them myself, if that's all right. So we have John O'Brien from the University of Pennsylvania. I appreciate how well run the ARIN meetings are. I feel like it is worthwhile use of my time, concise, relevant, and good value. And thank you very much, John, for that. And the praise that obviously goes to the staff, the board. I'm involved a little bit, but they really do make it easy. And it's been amazing to see how well these virtual meetings have been formed. The next one is kind of for staff. Robert Hoppenfield asks, where can we find a replay of ARIN 47? I'm going to guess the answer is you'll find it on arin.net. But I don't know if Bev wants to give us, or Hollis wants to give us the answer on specific timing and where.
Sure, we will be publishing that on the ARIN website in about 10 business days. There'll be a full webcast and transcript, and all of the presentations will be available packaged as the meeting report. And we will publish an announcement on the website and ARIN announce as soon as that's available.
Okay, we have one more comment and I think a question, so I'll take the comment, ask staff to read the question. So Marlon Martin says, thank you all ARIN administrators for your patience in hosting this meeting. I found the conference engaging, and even despite the virtual format, you've all done a wonderful job at organizing discussions and presentations. Especially love the breakout opportunities to engage with the ARIN community. Yes, the social opportunities it was good to get the social opportunities. Thank you very much, Marlon, for your comments. We all appreciate it. Okay, we do have actually, I believe, a question here, so we're getting a few more. So staff, if we could get the next question from Gary.
Sure, from Gary Geeson with Central Logic and ARIN AC. An important point was raised during the IPv4 transfer panel. We often assist clients with acquiring resources from ARIN who either don't have the expertise or the inclination to deal with ARIN. Trying to do this on behalf of a client is painful using ARIN's current systems, as they don't allow for some type of agency arrangement where an organization can designate an agent to act on their behalf. Having this capability would eliminate a lot of ARIN online account sharing, etc. Short of that, at least the ability to have someone else CC'd on tickets so we can produce customers to update them.
I think it was prod customers to update. them. I
Prod
think Gary-
customers to update
Prod,
them,
yeah.
yes.
I could see you were like, he's kind of using a short form, but he really was just using the word prod.
Using prod.
Gary, expect an email from a ARIN product manager near you
Right.
shortly. I think that's great feedback. And obviously, especially since we're stressing security, the fact that people are sharing ARIN accounts, while we understand that might be a necessity, is obviously if that can be dealt with, but and if there is sufficient demand, that's something that we could certainly look at. We'll take our next question.
All right, from David Farmer with the University of Minnesota. If the fee consultation goes forward, a much larger portion of the fees will come from end users. Will end users see a comparable increase in effort and outreach to issues important to end users as a result?
So I'm going to start this. I know, John, I think you don't even have to put up your hand, but I think the feedback that I'd want to hear, David, is where we're lacking in that now, because I don't think there's ever been a strategy that to prefer a certain group just because remember, there are end users too who have total fees have paid who have paid more than some ISPs and such. So I don't think that's a strategy, and I'm sure John will want to say the same thing. So, but certainly I think the team, especially Hollis, would love to understand areas where we could do more outreach, because if we are lacking on that right now, regardless of the fee consultation, I would like to, I think, speaking on behalf of the board, see that. John.
Yeah, David, certainly we haven't been trying to exclude end users, and we would love to hear any issues that end users are having with ARIN services or how we do things. If there's a gap, we need to address that gap regardless of what happens with the fee consultation. If you know of issues that aren't being addressed for end users, we need them to come forth, definitely, and help channel that. We do outreach to the extent we can. We do send messages, but the problem is that it's very hard to take someone who sees this as just a fee and an invoice each year and tell them there's a whole organization for them to get involved in. A lot of them don't have the time to, or necessarily the interest to do so, but we're open to any ideas for outreach right now, regardless of what happens with the fees.
Thank you for that. I'm going to do, because Brian Jones asked, Virginia Tech said, thanks for the stretches during the breaks. And I guess the question to staff is, if we go in person, are we still going to have ARIN sessions? Not ARIN the org, ARIN the stretch person, not to be confused with ARIN our HR person or Aaron Hughes. So there's a good question for Stuart. Is when we go back in person, are we losing the stretch breaks?
My hope, sorry, John, I could
No,
jump in
I
real
do
quick.
want to know.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
As long as Aaron Pratt is at the meeting and willing to conduct stretch sessions, we can find a way to work those in.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. Okay, let's take Andrew Dull's question, please.
All right, Andrew Dull with 8 Continents Networks LLC. Building on David's comment, what outreach is ARIN going to do to all these new end user members? That is, these orgs will now be members and get them to participate in voting and other member specific activities.
So this is a topic, and don't worry, yes, John, go to a second. This is a topic that we're well aware of. We are still finalizing just a relook at membership in general. But the answer is yes, there would certainly be engaged outreach to any of our newfound members or potential members. John? Yeah,
it's Andrew, any of these organizations that want to participate as members will be able to do so. We're asking them to, we'll be charging everyone the same fee schedule. That fee schedule includes membership. We do need to figure out what we do statistically, because you don't want to have 14,000 members and find out that your participation level is only 300 organizations at every meeting. So we need to deal with that, and that may require some nuances with things like quorum and voting. But our intent is that we leverage this community. We try to get them excited. We try to get them involved as members. Long term, we'd like that to happen with them and with the existing ISPs. We have done analysis of the existing 6,600 registration service plan customers, the current ISP community, we only see between the voting and the meetings and PPML, we only see about 14 or 1,500 of these organizations. And so we're wondering where'd the other 5,000 go? So yes, we want to get the new smaller in general end user members coming in, get them involved. And we'd like to hear back from the remainder of our ISP community that we have today that hasn't been participating in ARIN.
Thank you. So we've come to, it looks like the end of the question. So I'd make a last call to, if you'd like to raise your hand, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear the sound of your voices. Please do so now. I'd ask if you want to type a question, that you type the word Q first, which has been successful, so we know to close that. So we'll give, we are a little bit early, so I'll give about half a minute just to see if anybody would else like to raise. I did see some in chat, and while we say we won't read chat, I see there is some discussion about the number of meetings, in person and virtual. You know, before the pandemic, this was already a discussion, because there is a question about how much more policy there is to do, or is the amount of policy justify having these, traditionally in April, we had a standalone meeting. I can assure you no determinations have been made, but we'd love to hear thoughts on it, because that will be topics coming to a board table near you soon. Obviously, now that we see the success of the virtual meeting, perhaps, it may be reducing the number of in-person and going to virtual, relying much more on virtual, or keeping things the same. But I think certainly we've seen over the pandemic that while there are certain things we can't do virtually, I think the wider iStar community has found that perhaps it's been a good reset on how much travel, because there's certainly many of us, I think, that thought there was a wee bit too many conferences that you had to attend. You could certainly be on the road 364 days a year, it felt like. I see a hand up. I'm on the wrong tab. But I don't see who it is. Oh, there's, okay, can we go to the hand up, please?
Absolutely. Merce Arnold, I'm going to unmute you now.
Sorry, Merce, I was on the wrong one. Please go ahead, name, affiliation, and your comment or question.
Merce Arnold from the Obsidian Group Incorporated. I want to take this time to say thank you to ARIN for the ARIN Fellowship process. I think it made this meeting a lot more useful for my purposes and my understanding. I look forward to ARIN 48. Also, I want to thank everybody for indulging me in my questions. Since I am new to ARIN, I apologize if they seem to waste people's time, but I am enthusiastic about the work that you all are doing, and I look forward to more communications with you at a more intellectual level in the future. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for the fellowship.
Thank you, Merce, for the kind words, and thank you for the comment. I would just respond by saying, please don't consider that an issue. We understand there's a steep learning curve, and I think I've always been quite pleased that this community is quite open to newcomers, and we're always happy to take the time. Staff are always happy to take the time. A lot of our leaders are happy to take the time. So we're really glad the fellowship group worked. The program worked here again. New to have a virtual one, and we look forward to seeing that evolve. So thank you very much for your comment. I don't see anyone else, and I will say yes, thanks to ARIN, who noted that there was a much more rich content on this. I just say that please, I encourage any of you to get in touch with us to let us know what you thought of the more streamlined format. My thanks to the staff that put together that suggestion to try some new things, and it sounds like many of it worked out. But I think it appears we cannot coax any more else to come. So if we can go to our closing slides, and I will close this out here. So